Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Farming Sim 19. This is Last Frontier, episode number 9. So, next up for us is harvesting the north field, the new large field. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. But before we get to it, we have a little bit of time to cover. And for that, I'm going to actually speed up time. But in the meantime, while we are waiting for enough time to cover, I'm going to get into doing a little bit of maintenance on some of our old equipment. So we're going to go ahead and spend $41 to repair. And then we will kind of bring things by one and run some of those repair costs and take care of them. So first up was the cultivator. It's good to go now. I like our new shed here. For one, it's easily accessible. Two, it's definitely more spacious than what we were working with. Oh, gotta lower it. There we go. And by giving us the additional storage space, we're able to now separate things a bit. So this is going to take us just a little bit of time as we go through and knock this out, and we'll kind of have to periodically jump in and out and see where we're at in regards to the field growth. But things should happen fairly quickly for us. Oof, yeah, so that's in really sad shape. $94. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and one by one bring the other equipment on by, and we'll take care of this. I'll do that off camera, and then I'll see you when we're ready to do our harvest. Opting to do a little bit of weed killing as the weeds have come back very quickly. Luckily we can dispose of them very quickly as well. I'm not willing to make a third pass on here, so we will go kind of right down the middle of this and get what we can out of it. It's not worth the herbicide to come by for a third pass. The other field is looking much the same as this one. Not ready to harvest yet. It's only been a couple hours. The equipment's been taken care of. The repairs are done. Everything is serviceable now. Try also lift this up. There we go. Out of the way enough to get past the tree. And we head off to the other field. Start unfolding it again. Lower it back down. And you can already see there are some barren areas on this field from our previous work. We have not been on here otherwise, but you can see just how full of weeds this is. We're not quite getting to the end on this, but we'll do what we can to get it all. Again, I do not want to be on here more than is necessary. Now, some of this comes down to areas that I missed. Some of this comes down to the crop destruction being a factor. It is on. So again, we're just trying to improve yield And driving over this is at the same time hurting and improving yield as we're killing on the weeds, but again, destroying some of the crops. So we will aim for the minimalist approach on this. Again, I'm going a little wide here, but that's because we're about to make our way around. Oh my goodness! Did we just finish the crop growth, or is that another growth stage? I think we had one growth stage remaining. Oh man, crop destruction. Crop destruction. Get me around the rock. No! Turn it off. Get me past it. Come on. There you go. Unfold. I should have pushed out a little bit wider. Let's check on this. Is it grown? No, it's in the last stage though, where we're seeing some serious destruction. So we'll kill whatever weeds are here, and see, we're destroying everything on this final stage. So we are going to get out of here, and we are not coming back. Well, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a good time, right? Make a little breakfast. We don't have a proper dining room table, so we'll have to sit out here, eat our breakfast. Use the little space heater. Tabletop. Alright. Go do some dishes. Wash, wash, wash. Clean up. Feels looking pretty good from here. She's ready to harvest. Ah. Beautiful day in no man's land. No smog to deal with. It's fresh. So beautiful out here. Okay. Okay, yeah, we gotta relieve the bowels. Sorry. Oh, yeah, you don't want to see that. Okay. Get me out of here. Alright, let's get to work. Got the harvester, combine, everything looks in order. Hose is hooked up properly. Left the lights on all night. Smart move. Smart move, gamer. Will she still start up? She does. Luckily enough, she starts up. Alright, and away we go. This is a barley harvest on our first field that we have created ourselves. And on a field that is significantly larger than the first one. First time we had no perks besides a little bit of fertilization. This time, fertilization levels were the same. But the... let's see, how do we want to pick this up? I guess we'll kind of reverse out of here. Get this barley on the end. It's a little awkward spot that the Courseplay plowing, do we say kindly or not so kindly added in for us? Straighten those edges out as we come back around. Again, that's where the Courseplay kind of starts itself off, and it's a little awkward as it first finds its boundaries. So both in the plowing and the cultivating and the seeding. It ended up where it ended up. Alright, so we're already 20% full, and all we did was go around the short way. Halfway around the long way of the field. So we'll soon be at a half a lap around the perimeter, and it looks like we've got about 30%. That is a pretty good start for us. Considering we never even filled the combine up on the other field, right? We just had the internal contents by the end of doing that whole field. So I knew this field was larger. Actually, wasn't sure it was quite this much larger. Here's where our crop was unfortunately destroyed as the growth phase changed while we sprayed. And the weeding definitely took care of it. So we've got to make sure now in the future that we get our weeding done before we get to the later growth stages. Got to figure out how they work with that, how the crop destruction works on that. And while there is minimal destruction in those early stages, you see not everything has grown through. There's a massive difference between that and what we saw once it hit the third of the 4 growth stages while we were out on the field. One time around and we are well over half full. I have kind of 2 options here on how I operate with this. There is follow me, and that is definitely one way. I mean, we can keep that tractor right beside us as we go around. But that's not necessarily the most ideal way. So with 59%, 60%, I think that is far enough. We're going to go ahead and actually go like this. We're going to line ourselves up for the next go. We'll leave it running. I'll hop out. Now we'll jump in the tractor here. Open the cover. Fire it up. And I suppose I ain't gonna bother turning the lights on. Harvester has enough light for us. We'll come in reverse, empty it. Okay, it's 3,000 liters so far. 3,400. Turn around. And I'm going to line it up just over here. Shut her down. Pipe in, and we'll make our next trip around. Then when we get back over here to this corner again, without even hopping out, we can easily just take care of this. Actually, based on percentage, if we were just over half full, this time I would imagine we'll be right about half full as we come around. Yeah, add a second lap to that. Should be almost full. So that might actually be the way to go. Take 2 trips around and then unload fully. But let's go ahead and hop over into time lapse and knock this field out.
Comes the music. Boom, boom, bang, boom. I'll shoot you right down. Boom, boom, bang, boom. Ow, 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 ow. Boom, boom, bang, boom. I'll shoot you right down. Boom, boom, bang, boom. Ow, 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 ow.
As we go to wrap this field up, it's only 8 o'clock in the morning, so this really did not take us long to get through and harvest this whole field. Looks like I'll have one more turnaround pass to make. But the easiest way is probably just to reverse a bit. There we go. You should have seen during the time lapse that we did complete one trailer load already, one complete full trailer load, 21,000, and that netted us just over $10,000. So here in just a moment, we'll see how much of a load we have here, because it's clearly not full, and I intend on going by the silo and taking whatever barley is in there. Let's actually go park this before we take that trailer in. Take whatever barley is in there, add it, fill the trailer, whichever one. I'll take either one more full trailer load and leave the rest of the barley, or take all of the barley in the silo and sell all of it. That way we can get hopefully 20,000 out of it, but we'll very quickly be able to do the math and see how much money we made off of it. Turn the lights off. Shut her down, close her up, and I guess we should probably, oh, not the lights, put the header down. There you go. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop back in the trailer, in the tractor anyway. Next up for us, besides trying to make a little more money from this, the obvious next step is to deal with the straw swath. We'll bale that up money is money. So at 55% full, that should be roughly about $5,600, $5,700 dollars. So that gives us a grand total of just about 16,000, just a shade under 16,000 overall for this harvest. And of course, that was a far from complete harvest. By far from complete, I mean there was still a lot of weeding. The fertilization wasn't perfect. There's a lot of things that could have been done to increase that yield yet further. We haven't used any lime yet. That's another 10% additional to the yield. We had that crop destruction. This, that, the other thing all add up combined to hurt that yield a bit. Does it hurt it enough to keep it away from, say, 20,000 on its own without taking out of the silo? I don't know if it's that much of a difference. I mean, that's a pretty substantial amount. We're talking 20%, but realistically, yeah, actually, you could say there probably was another 20% yield-wise that we could have gotten out of that field. If that's the case, then yes, that field has an evaluation of about 20,000 on its own. The other field has maybe 3,000 on its own, so it's probably 1/7 the size, maybe 1/8 the size of the new field to the north. So with another 10,000, that'll put us at 61.5-ish. And while that's a good amount of money, there's not much we can do with that. Field, each field, each area that we can purchase is 85,000, so we're still well shy of that, but we could have that in another day or so. And then after that, there's still those number of things to do that could improve the yield, say. So for example, we could get a lime spreader. We could get some sort of other fertilizer spreader. And then of course it's going to involve expanding the farm itself. But we could, and you can see actually the harvest that time was just 10,000, even though it was full, so the price was down a little bit. I'm sure that has a little bit to do with the fact that we just sold our harvest ourselves. We're getting into animals and the money that comes with that. Getting into a field expansion and the money that comes with that, or getting into improving our yield and the money that comes with that. Now, out of all of those, the one that's going to create the smallest increase would be to improve the yield. Sure, we could have made, combined another 5,000 or so on that round of harvest, but that's 5,000. That's not a ton. If we buy another field and mow all of that grass, cut down some trees, plant and harvest, we're improving by many tens of thousands profit margin. So to me, that seems like the obvious route, the smarter route, as opposed to working necessarily on the yield currently. We can hammer out days and hammer out these two fields another time or two, especially if we do this grass field area again and get what we get out of that. I think that might be probably the best. The animals, of course, are going to come with plenty of benefit there, but there's so much money to get started on that one. And we really, really lack space. I mean, there is the smallest chance that we could squeeze something in here, right? But we've got that hillside, so it's not flat. So then you're probably looking at this space, and then where's the roadway going to go? So you're probably going to try to fit it into this space, not totally flat. And again, it's going to take a lot of money to get into the animals, and it's going to take a while to get them breeding enough and to make that worthwhile. So I think we're going to need a much bigger space before we get into the animals. Probably after purchasing, say, our second field. But with where we're at right now, this is harvested, so we're going to want to come back in next time around. We only need to cultivate, so that's good. That's a good start. And then plant again. This one's ready to harvest already? What the heck? Wow, okay. That was fast. It caught up already. And oh man. So, looks like we have another field to do. That should net us a couple $1,000s. I'm going to go ahead and do that one off camera. You've already seen me handle that. We're going to go ahead and replant, reseed, and kind of get back around now. Let's check our grass for a second. How is our grass? It's ready to harvest already. So we have another grass harvest to do some bales. We're going to get that harvested. And then we need to replant. So I've got a lot going on. I will likely take our tractor, get the equipment on it, run Courseplay to get it cultivating the north field again, and then I'll grab the harvester and harvest the field here. When the north field is done and seeded again, then I'll go ahead and do what we need to do with both the other field and harvesting. Somewhere in there, we'll start the next episode. That's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.